to leave the Buckeyes outside the top 10. Now, prior to the reveal of Sweeney's rankings, he was on Packer and Durham on the ACC network, where he took another not-so-subtle jab at Ohio State.
Obviously, you're going to study their games this year. That'll be a quick study for us. They were only 6, so that'll be a little easier. Typically you're going into these games, you got 13 games to study, so it won't be as daunting of a task there. But yeah, we're familiar with them. They're familiar with us, and we look forward to it.
I like a little shade there. Well, for more on Ohio State Clemson, we bring in Trevor Maddich. Now, Trevor, Dabo's providing Ryan Day with plenty of bulletin board material there. What's your reaction to it?
I love it. I mean, it's so much fun, and it's not even really an insult when you think about it, because really they don't have a lot of tape. It's not like you said, their coach smells like broccoli. But what you need to know about football players is that even if he declared the sky to be blue, the opposing team would take that as an insult, put it on the bulletin board, because it works. And I just like it that Dabo has kind of developed into a coach that'll speak his mind and have some fun, because we don't need a bunch of boring college football coaches around here.
Exactly. It's football. It's supposed to be fun. Now, let's talk about the other semifinal, where Alabama is currently listed as 19.5-point favorites over Notre Dame. How can the Irish look to keep this game close, if not win it?
Use your tools. For goodness sake, get the tight ends more involved. Michael Mayer and Tommy Tremble are 2 of the best receiving tight ends, and blocking tight ends, by the way, in college football. And they only combined for 7 catches against Clemson. And it's not because they couldn't catch. They've got the big body that even when they're covered, they can reach up and catch the ball anyway and then drag a defender 3 or 4 yards to stay even with the chains. They did not do that nearly enough in the ACC championship game against Clemson. And to have a chance against Alabama, they're going to have to use that intrinsic advantage. The big bodies, even when they're covered, get them the ball, because otherwise they're not going to score.
All right, Trevor Maddich with the game plan. We'll find out how it all plays out in just over 10 days from now. Trevor, thanks.
Thanks, and I do declare the sky is blue.
We're also going to find out how this plays out. Eagles head coach Doug Pederson announced today that rookie Jalen Hurts once again will be a starting quarterback for Sunday's Week 16 matchup against the Cowboys. And sources told Adam Schefter that Wentz isn't happy with the way things have played out in the organization. He wants to move on from the Eagles if he remains the backup quarterback. So here is Pederson on his quarterbacks.
This is a situation where it's not Carson versus Jalen or Jalen versus Carson, right? This is a team that we're fighting and scratching each week and still have an opportunity to pull this thing out and see what happens here in the next 2 weeks of the regular season. And I can honestly say that there's Carson's been a professional about what he's about, what he's doing inside this building, on the field, during games. There is no the team doesn't feel like, there's any kind of animosity between either one of the guys. We're all here to try to win games.
Well, NFL senior insider Chris Mortensen is here with us with more on the Eagles. What have you heard about Carson Wentz's future plans?
Well, I think we have to see how this plays out. I mean, there's no question that he would want out if the situation is going to be that Jalen Hurts is a starter, or you're going to have to compete for the job going into the offseason. But it also depends. Doug Pederson is coaching for his job in the eyes of many inside this league. So, and they're still alive in the NFC East, believe it or not. And Jalen Hurts is playing good football, even if they lost on Sunday. But Carson Wentz, I would say he's going to assess everything. Right now, yeah, the feeling is I'm a starter. I was almost the MVP in 2018, the year that they went to the Super Bowl before he got hurt. Yeah, and it's his job. Last December, he played MVP-type football to get them in the playoffs with no receivers. But they go into the offseason, and I do think he will ask to be traded if there's not a change that is satisfactory to his overall outlook. But I will say what Doug said about Carson being a pro throughout this process with Jalen, I've had that verified by other parties inside that building and in that locker room.
Okay, well, the Eagles are fighting to get into the playoffs. They can't lose one more time or else they'll be out. But the New England Patriots, they've already been eliminated from the postseason after their loss to the Dolphins. Here's Bill Belichick today on the future of his team and the quarterback.
So, Coach, listen, I know you were just talking about not scoring a touchdown the last couple of games, and I know it's not just one person, but can a change of quarterback kind of help you guys get in the end zone?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about that.
So is Cam still your starter this week?
Yeah, we've talked about that question. It's been several weeks that we continue to ask the same question.
Well, I think, yeah, and I understand that, but I think now you guys, I know you've been eliminated from the playoffs officially. You're just wondering, with a couple games left, is anything change as far as that goes? I mean, that could be a change.
You ask the question every week, Luke. Yeah, every week you ask if something's changed.
Well, it has changed, though, because you guys have been eliminated, right? So maybe you look at Stidham the last 2 weeks? Okay.
Crickets. All right, so Bill doesn't want to talk, but we know you do more. What more can you tell us about the Patriots' plan for the rest of the season and beyond?
Well, I think there is a question as to whether they'll go to Jarrett Stidham, but to go to Jarrett Stidham to see if they can win the next two games. Bill Belichick is not going in there to try and see what they've got going forward in 2021. He's going to try and win this game against the Buffalo Bills next Monday night. I think it's on ESPN. Monday night, we got it. But at the same time, Cam Newton, who's on a one-year contract, I talked to a GM today who said he looks like he's damaged goods again. And he meant physically. We haven't heard anything physically. We know he went through COVID. The Patriots had won 4 of 5 before the last 2 games, and we thought, watch out, here come the Patriots. But Cam hasn't played well. He's acknowledged that. And I think there's a big picture thought here that they will be looking beyond Cam Newton for 2021. But Bill Belichick's not going to answer that question either, Ashley. I will say this. He's facing a division going forward with great stability in Buffalo with a franchise quarterback, and probably the same thing going down with the Miami Dolphins in the division, which I don't think they've ever really experienced for 2 decades.
Yeah, this is an unknown feeling, certainly. That loss not only eliminated the Patriots from the playoffs, it means the team will have their first losing season since 2000. That's when Bill Belichick had his first year with the team. Mort, thank you so much for your time.
Hall of Fame linebacker Kevin Green, considered one of the fiercest pass rushers in NFL history, died today, as family confirmed. No cause of death was given for the 58-year-old who played 15 seasons for 4 teams, including the Panthers and the Steelers. He was an all-pro selection in both 1994 and 1996, and his 160 sacks ranked 3rd in league history. Green was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2016. Since sacks became official in 1982, Kevin Green is the only player to reach double digits in a season with 4 different teams. There have been 4 instances of a player leading the NFL in sacks after turning 32 years old, and 2 are of the seasons by Kevin Green. He also holds the mark as being the oldest to do it when he was with the Panthers in 1996. Green was just 58 years old.
Coming up on SportsCenter, counting down to Monday Night Football, hear Big Ben's mindset on the Steelers' pressure to get back on track for the playoffs after 2 straight losses. Plus, 24 hours until the NBA is back in